All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our regularly scheduled October board meeting. We consider ourselves called. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda, just adding on here, that we'll also be approving minutes for September 18th and October 2nd special meetings.
So moved all.
It says regular and special, does that?
Oh, okay, there we go. We don't even have to change it. Okay, great. Well, October also,
Okay,
September and October.
okay, and I would make one addendum to add EV charging discussion on the facilities portion of the meeting. So it's kind of a subtopic, if you will. Any other corrections or additions? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Any opposed? And motion carries. That will bring us to our audit presentation, and so I am going to turn the floor over to our friend our friend from Plant Moran, who's going to present the audit findings that were conducted by Alice Young. So here you are.
Thank you so much. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I am Carrie Chase. Good to see a lot of you again. I've been working with the library for a very long time. I'm also a resident, so this has been my library since I was born. So it's really cool for me to be here. I wanted to cover a few things with you. As you said, so we did not do the audit. We do your accounting on a regular basis, budgeting and everything. Alan C. Young did perform the external audit, so I'm here to present those results. You should have 3 pieces. One of them should be the PowerPoint. Did that get?
Oh, I don't know that.
Okay, that's okay. It's gonna be up here, but they do have it, so we could send that out. There's also a letter on Alan's letterhead,
Inside your first couple pages.
and then there's the thick bound financial statement. So I'm gonna cover the letter first, and then we're pretty much going to use the slides to cover the financial statements, but I'll cover a couple key items. So the letter that he sent is a required post-audit communication to you. If you go through and read it, it tells you that they did not identify any journal entries. They did not identify any difficulties, there were no misstatements that they corrected. They do tell you about, there was one accounting standard that was implemented this year. It was an adjustment to how we calculate the liability for compensated absences. So your staff get banks and time off, and there were just changes to that. It only impacted your liability about 30,000, and that is not in your general fund. It is on that full accrual level. So really overall a pretty minor impact for you and more of an accounting nuisance or nuance, depending on how you want to look at it. Other than that, things are consistent in your statements from a reporting perspective. The letter that you do not have, which is a good thing, is a report on internal control. So they did not identify any material weaknesses or deficiencies or anything in your accounting or any suggestions for improvements. So if they did, there would have been another letter, but fortunately that is not here. So no questions, I'm guessing, on the letter.
Here, I'm sorry, just the question is, so I know you said there's no, the actual language, so like the final conclusion, the official language for a.
Yes, so if you're in the right document, if you go to page 1, that is the actual opinion of the statements, and I think it's right in that first paragraph, but it's called an unmodified opinion.
That's what thank you.
And that's the highest opinion you can achieve
Okay.
on your financial statements.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So those first 2 pages, I don't think there's a page number on the first page, but the second page has a page number. Those are the auditor's letter, but everything else contained in that document is the library's financial statements. So Kelly assisted in writing the first part, which is called the management discussion and analysis. And then the rest of it is your financial statements for the year. Like I said, the only change if you compare these side to side would be there is a restatement that's mentioned to your fund balance. That is a requirement of the standard. So when we implemented that standard for compensated absences, they want us to act like it happened last year in the beginning balance, so you're comparing year over year. So it wasn't anything wrong, that's prescriptive of the implementation, and like I said, I think it was only like 35,000 that the change in approach impacted. So with that, I wanted to spend some time on the general fund with the slides, and then I'm happy, feel free to interrupt me if you have questions. We've already covered these items. So this slide, it's blocked a little bit at the top, but this is a year over year, over the past 5 years of your revenue, just in your general fund. So that's the majority of where your activity occurs that you're used to seeing in your budget schedules. So because there were no proposed audit adjustments, what you have seen on a monthly basis is accurate to what this is. So if you took June 30 from us, it would agree to what this says. So you can see there have been revenue increases. You increased this year about 480,000. That's twofold is for the main source of that. So about 86% of your revenue is property taxes, as it is with most libraries. So you had about 385,000 increase as a result of the taxable values increasing. The other piece is that other line on top, you can see has been steadily increasing. That is a result of your investment income for the most part. So your investments in moving those over the past 2 years to Michigan class has been significant for your investment income. So you had 378,000 this year in interest.
Nice job. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the same picture, except now we're looking at the expenditures in the general fund. So you can see the largest portion, that top dark blue, is your salaries and fringes. So from 2024 to 2025, you increased about 1.4 million in total expenditures. The bulk of that, like 775,000, was in salaries and fringes. I can go into detail. There were raises that were given, there were new positions that were added that accounted for that increase. And then the other significant part is that second layer, the dark green, is your capital outlay. So as I'm sure you're aware, there were many projects that happened this year, the roof, the RFID tags, or computers. All of those purchases are in that line that make up that increase over last year. So when you take so if you were to compile, take that revenue of 8.36 million that you had on the first slide for this year, and then here you have expenditures of 7.3 million, you added about $1 million to your ending fund balance in the general fund for this year. So this is a breakdown of your fund balance, which is an accumulation over time of those annual net income. So this doesn't equate to cash, it's your assets less your liabilities, but you have about 13.7 million in total. There are breakdowns that you'll see below that break that up out. So the non-spendable part, this is an accounting rule, it's prepaid. So there are things that you bought before the end of the year that you will actually be using the next year. So we can't use that money. So it's set as non-spendable. You also have about 276,000 in restrictions. So this is mainly books. There's that $100,000 for the branch. So that's the money that we track on an annual basis. A lot of it is very prescribed for as far as what you can use. Do you have a question?
I just have a question.
Yeah.
You know, we are gaining interest on that $100,000. So I'm assuming that $7,000 in interest that we've gotten is also restricted.
I believe it was the corpus that was restricted, but I can follow back up in our work papers and look for that. I think it was the 100, and I don't think the earnings were, but I will double check and let you know.
Okay, thank you.
The committed funds, that is your endowment, that is committed there. And then the assignments are for future capital projects. So those assignments are something that come from management as far as intent to use funds. So after those special categories, you still have 9 million in what we would say is your unassigned, or there's no intended purpose, like your money that's there. So what I like to do is look at that compared to your expenditures in a year. So your general fund is about little over 7 million. So if you take that expenditure over that unassigned, that means you have about 80% sitting in fund balance for a year. So that means your doors were to close and no revenue were to come in, you would have about 10 months of income before you ran out. So that's good. The bar from when I would have presented 15 years ago would have been very different, but we are seeing fund balances intentionally grow some because there's just so much unpredictability around us. And so that is where you landed at the end of this year.
Can you say a little bit more about the restricted funds? I heard you say there's some for the branch.
Yeah, so whenever you have like a donor restriction that comes in, and I believe the library, so a lot of these are pretty old, like 15 years old, or more, where they had come in, and I mean, there were some that were coming in so specific, like for science books and things like that. And so I think the library has done the appropriate thing and is trying to help when those gifts come in to make them more usable. And so there is a list that we track to that amount of what's sitting there with these donor restrictions.
Okay, thank you.
So these would be like London and
Western
He's in there, I think that's
International.
100.
I think we're down, I think he gave like 200,000 for nonfiction books only.
And do we still have monies for the international video collection?
No, we spent all of that.
Okay. There were some that were,
There's
specific even to
one,
whether it was AE or.
yeah, there's
the-
one for health books.
So there has been intent to use down, like you said, like the number would have been bigger a few years ago, but there's still a little bit that remains there. That's in summary where you are. Like I said, no different than what your monthly reports would have been telling you. Any questions?
So I know why, I wanna ask this for the benefit of anyone listening to this meeting too. We know why we're trying to keep a large fund balance with all kinds of anticipation for projects that we have. Does Plant Moran have, if we weren't doing that, does Plant Moran have a, kind of an idea what best practice is for the amount of fund balance?
Yeah, so I would, the GFOA, which is association that kind of governs government finance, they would always say like minimum of 25 to 30%, and that's minimum, like just to make sure you can survive. So different boards, different organizations, different governments have different approaches. And so what you're doing, like you said, right, there's intent there for things that you're planning to do and use and whatever. So we do see that accumulate so that you can make those purchases. And that's what we do in our own personal lives too, right? And we need to make purchases. There are, when you're smaller, which I would consider the library compared to like City of Farmington Hills, that percent gets bigger because the dollars are smaller, right? When you take the percent. So if I were to take 80% of Farmington Hills budget, that's a really big cushion, right? But for smaller places, we do see these higher percents. I even see smaller like townships that are operating between that 75 to 100%. Because of projects and because of the dollar translation, just because of if there's catastrophic things, they want to have a little bit more cushion.
And when they boil that down to 10 months.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You know, it seems like a large number, but it's not actually as large as.
Right, when you take what that translates in dollars, for sure. I also want to thank Kelly and Brian and Ashley, Pat, who helps us with IT, because everybody contributes and pulls stuff and gets things together. Kathy, you've been instrumental in helping with getting the investment information as well. So it's a team effort and we really appreciate everybody's cooperation.
Yeah, well, thank you, Carrie. We appreciate you and your commitment to supporting the library. I think you are a key part of our sound financial management, Kathy as well, and certainly the staff. We have a We won't call it approval, but we have a staff who really keeps their eye towards the taxpayers' value of the dollars. We appreciate that, so thank you. All right. Thank you so much. All right, so with that being said, we have the opportunity for public comment, which is our first opportunity. Are there any public who wish to comment? Okay, seeing none, we will move forward to minutes. We have a series of minutes that we need to approve. And so, Jim, I'm thinking we want to take these one by one.
Yeah, and so you have, so just to say it again for everybody, and I know you haven't, I apologize, you haven't seen the October 2nd or the September 18th special meeting, so if you want to take a minute to look at those. The September 11th meeting, I was not here, and Renee, I believe, created those minutes. We'll take those separately. And then, amend the August minutes, we'll do that last. I think I know what that's about. I just want. Go
All right, so based on that, it sounds like we would entertain a motion for the approval of the September 11th minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
All right, I think I heard Stephen first. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so Kathy has second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye. Sorry, I didn't mean to, I wanted to abstain.
Okay, abstentions? Okay, all right, any opposed? All right, motion carries. Then we will move to the September 18th minutes. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of the special board meeting minutes from September 18th.
So moved.
Okay, and a second.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded that we would approve the special board meeting minutes from September 18th. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, any abstentions? Okay, one abstention, the motion carries. All right, and that will bring us to October 2nd. So I'll entertain a motion for approval of the special board meeting minutes from October 2nd.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved by Renee and seconded by Delhara that we approve the special board meeting minutes from October 2nd. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. All right, and then we have minutes from August 14th, and I think this is just a clerical correction.
I believe it was to add on the correspondence that I announced to you at the September 8th meeting, at September 18th meeting, but it should have been, it was correspondence that we received before the August 14th meeting. It should have been in those minutes.
But it's also the date change.
Oh, is there also, July. That was another one. Okay. Then I probably didn't need to say anything. Yeah, yes, July, yeah, right.
August.
The only thing that really needs to be changed is July. Yeah.
Okay, so I'd entertain a motion to correct the draft minutes from the August meeting from to say August 14th, 2025 instead of July 10th, 2025.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? All right, any discussion? All right, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Anyone opposed? All right, the motion carries. Okay, I think that takes care of minutes. We've been meeting quite a lot lately, so thank you very much for your attendance and your participation in the meetings, and thank you to Jim and Renee for making sure that we have from our meetings and the staff as well. All right, so that will bring us to treasurer's report. So Kathy, I'll turn it over to you.
I move the board approve the September 2025 operating bill totaling $525,851.43.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that we would approve the operating expenses in the amount of $525,851.43. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion carries.
I move to receive and file the September 2025 financial reports.
Second.
All right, been moved and properly seconded that we would receive and file the financial reports. Any discussion? And seeing none, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I have a few things to talk about. The Michigan class update. We received a deposit into our Comerica checking account of $2,707,127,162. Does that sound right? $2,707,127.62. This was for our Farmington Hills 2025 tax distribution number 5, which covered the collection period from 8/16/25 to 9/1/25. It was transferred into our Comerica money market account, and then I wired it into our Michigan class FCL village sub-account to take advantage of higher interest rates. Some of this money will be transferred back into our Comerica checking account from time to time to cover our 2025-26 budget expenses. As of September 31st, our Michigan class balance with that addition is $15,283,626.66. Our September earned interest was $48,559.44. And our year-to-date interest was $403,352.29. On September 1st, our daily interest rate was 4.3346%, and on September 30th, it was 4.1943%. I also received a board of directors ballot from Michigan class because I'm the contact person, and voted for Robert Wittenberg from Oakland County and Mary Mitchell from Emmett County. They both have great financial backgrounds. And last thing, I just read that Fifth Third Bank is purchasing Comerica Bank. If it's approved by both companies' stockholders, this should be completed by the end of the first quarter of 2026. And I'll be contacting our branch manager to see how this might affect our library. That's it.
Awesome, thank you, Kathy. I think I did hear that Fifth Third has committed to keeping the center in Farmington Hills, the new American headquarters there, so that's awesome news.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, thank you. That will bring us to the friend of the library report. So Stacy, I will turn it over to you.
To present a couple of things. We inducted 2 new members. They're called directors, actually, according to our bylaws last night. Very excited. One is a friend of one of our board members, Mike Pistar, who actually went through the library technical training program through OCC and interned at the library. So everybody knows her well, a lot of people, which is really nice. And second one is my kids' middle school orchestra teacher's mom, who's a retired professor of epidemiology from EMU. Her name is, so Katie Tyler is Mike's friend, and Bev Malco is our other new board member. Excited to have them both. So that's really great. Couple of things. We poured beer at the Harvest Moon, and I think the tips got juiced a little bit, but we made about $340, which is always nice. It funds the cash flow for the book sale that's coming up. We did not receive it in person because nobody can make the luncheon for the Exemplar Club, but they gave us $250 for children's reading, I think was the sort of overall thing, and that is always lovely. And everybody regretted missing the meeting, but duty called. A couple of things, our year-to-date sales from our book sales for both, through the circulation desk and on our book sales are about 18,500 plus probably about 1,500 to 2,000 from eBay sales. So that's pretty good for 3/4 of the year. Of course, the new book sales coming up in October 23rd through the 25th. We're changing the way we do this because my back hurts and I can't schlep stuff like I used to, nor do I want to. So we're having a little bit of a shorter sales to see if we can achieve the same kind of
High impact.
growth. Exactly. And then it will be a bag sale. So we're in our temporary room, thanks mostly to Kelly and Peter and Joe for moving things over. So we're in the former quiet study room and they have the shelves up and it's really nice. And every volunteer who's walked in there is like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. So yeah, I mean, it's nice. I don't know, if beautiful is quite it's very nice and it's contained and we're super glad because when you guys start construction on the ADA compliant bathrooms, we'll be out of your hair. So fantastic. And I think other than the book sale and the, of course, event with Catherine Center, the author event and yeah, Kelly gave us the numbers last night and Rebecca confirmed we've got almost capacity signed up for the room and then we've got about 45 people virtual. And I think somebody from the Friends needs to show up for the 1,000 books before kindergarten kickoff. And yay, here we are, go for it. So somebody can talk to Becky about that. And lastly, we have our fundraising lined up for the year. We're going to get our membership renewal letter out probably by the beginning of November. Giving Tuesday, we have done this for several years and some years are more remunerative than others. When we started, we did the Library of Things and that was actually Jill Baker's suggestion and it went really well. And I think we're probably going to do that again with maybe a few funds going to Wes Schumacher's vinyl collection that he is starting to put together. Because I think that would be really nice. And then, of course, given what the FCL Library Board of Trustees president has talked about in terms of collaborating on fundraising, we're also looking at how we can fundraise for the other half of the outdoor study space that the Friends has committed $45,000 to. About half of the cost of it, so that you won't have to take it out of the capital outlay, which would be, I think, really nice. And we will work toward that.
Nope.
And I wanted to say thank you to Chris Dobie, showed up to board. It was an amazing job. I know you're gonna get into it. She kind of hang on just a second. I just wanted to continue to honor Chris for the good work that's done. It's been great. So thank you. Okay, thanks.
My questions are, I was looking at our website and it says that for a person to have a plaque there in the entrance, they donate $2,500. Has there been any donations of new plaques recently?
Yes, many. I could pull the funds. Ashley's got them in through Bloomerang.
When I walk in, do I see new plaques or?
You see names where there was blank space. Because the spaces are all filled. I don't know if you've looked at it closely. The spaces are all filled, but some of them are blank. It's not like there's empty space.
Oh, I see. So you've not filled all the blank spaces.
There's always room for improvement.
It's always. And my other question is, did we make any progress? I see it says also that the Friends is 501c3.
Yes.
Did we make any progress about making a separate 501c3 for donations or?
What do you mean?
Well, for donations, required to do distributions.
Our bylaws do not address that. That's not we have not talked about that. And we would have to fundamentally change what the Friends look like. And nobody's approached me about that officially, or the board.
So it's
I am just,
501c3.
okay.
Because it says that on
United for Libraries has really good information about how friends and foundations exist. And I would direct you to that so that you could take a look at that at the American Library Association annual meeting, which generally takes place in June of every year. There are United for Libraries members, and there's a membership roundtable where you can ask this kind of question. And then they have really, really good especially at the national level, information about how to start a foundation. But as the Friends, that is not in our purview. So we do not have anything in our bylaws about that.
Yeah, and I think that's something the finance committee is investigating currently, and we'll bring advice back to the board about. I did want to call out, Stacy, that I think I saw an article in the Farmington Press this week about library friends groups and the fact that it is Library Friends Week, I think, this month.
Yes, the week that we have, and we've done this for a number of years, the week that we have our author event. And then when we finish out with the book sale, that's National Friends of the Library Week. And so that's how we commemorate that, and that goes out in a newsletter to our friends, and that gets put up in like the book sale area when it's National Friends Week.
You appreciate that Catherine said was front and center on that, even though the person talking in that part was Paula Schofield.
I know.
That was right. Catherine Center being right there. This is-
A whole lot of it together.
So I do think that I put this into train last year when I called and said if they would do something on the book sale, and I took like 4 weeks for them to get back to me, and this was the outcome for it. So you know what, we waited a year this time.
And that is the thing with media. Sometimes seeds you plant take a long time to kind of come up. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for the excellent contribution to the article. It was nice to see that showcase. All right, any more questions for Stacy? Okay, thank you very much, Stacy.
Thank you.
That will bring us to the director's report. So Kelly, I'll turn it over to you.
I just want to tell you about the $2,500 to get one of the spines. It's a cumulative thing. You don't have to give $2,500. You can give $2,500 over the course of years, and then you get on the spine, so.
So we all should check with Ashley.
Like how much-
How close we are.
She'll let you know.
Yeah.
She'll let you know.
For the next meeting.
Right. Okay, so the exciting thing is that we were nominated to as best large business category. So our little nomination was delivered to us on Thursday, Wednesday, something like that, from the Chamber of Commerce. And so I'll pass that around. And so then they had us come take pictures. And they took a serious picture, and then they took, do something fun. And so this is the picture that ended up on the Facebook page of the Chamber of Commerce. And I had to pull people to take the picture, but so it was pretty funny, but publicity, it was the Friends of the Library in there, but also when I was talking to them about the Friends of the Library, the reporter said, "Oh, I hear you're retiring, and I call you next week and talk about you." So, I'm like, and Sarah's funny. She's like, "Oh, I know you don't like to talk, but you ask for the questions ahead of time." And I'm like, I should be able to talk about myself. Questions to be able to talk about myself. So it was about a half-hour conversation. So I don't have any idea when it's coming out, and
So you're saying you did get.
I did prove it. We'll see if I sound intelligent or not. And then she's like, "Oh yeah, we'll send a photographer out to take a picture. Well, I'll have them contact you." Well, then the photographer just shows up. But and so I'm posed around the library with several different poses, so I have no idea what this is gonna look like, but it's not important. But right. Of course, we're participating in the Grand Raven Victoria Walk. We had our first one last week, I think, right? Yeah, 1st of October.
And what's happening? What time is it?
Oh, yeah, one is happening tonight.
It's going on right now.
We have our Raven Crow downtown Farmington, which Jill was instrumental in creating. It is based on a book. It is, I sent you a picture, Raven Rich Witch, and the book is Room on the Broom. And then I sent you the little comment from Sunny Daycare. That they went around and looked around, and they loved the Room on the Broom Raven. They read the story and everything. They just wanted to pet it up. So that was cute. We have, oh, and then it's full, so you can't do it, but the fun program coming up is the ghost hunting program at the bank building across. I don't even know where I'm at, now,
Yeah.
that way, I think. But it's full up, it's at the GLP Bank Building, and they're gonna use all the ghost hunting,
Actually,
yes.
sorry, because I'm gonna be there at that program. We partnered with the Motor City Ghost Hunters, which is a paranormal investigation group, and they're bringing all of their equipment. So then our ghost hunting kits can circulate and patrons can do their own ghost hunting during the spooky season.
So,
Yeah, gonna be our building.
Yeah, this should be an interesting building though.
Right.
This has got a lot of history. It's got the little
No,
wall.
like, where's Jill? Sounds like we need a second installment already.
Let's see what else. Staff Day is coming up on Tuesday, November 11th. The morning includes the staff recognition and a little bit of the state of the library. In the afternoon, we're undergoing active shooter training with the Farmington House Police Department. Haley, who you all met, she left us and we're very sad about that. But, you know, she got a position at Eastern Michigan University, which is only like 5 minutes from her house, so again. You can't compete with that, so, a few other things. We have, oh, we were in the chamber, we have a full page. In the chamber link that goes out to all the businesses. They allow us that once a year because they only give us one time to do the meet and greet. So, and Sherry works on that. So we have. The idea committee has been working hard on the accessibility stuff. And so when you do programming, you can ask for accommodations. So, and you can click on form. So this was from Rebecca's friend. Like you're a little. Yes, so this was for somebody who asked for accommodation for Catherine Center, the author program. And so she just sent a text to Rebecca and Rebecca shared it, that, you know, she was very pleased about the beautiful accessibility options that we are so readily provided and that live streaming option is certainly an accessibility, but excited to attend in one way or another, so they can attend in person. So I'll let you read that. I do have things, speaking of United for Libraries, Stacey, I have one for you. You might, I don't know if you're on it too, but there's our classes. Now, obviously, September 27th is gone. But there's webinars and stuff, workshops that you can take. So I'll pass that out. Some of them have to do with friends, some of them has to do with library boards. You know, that one. With the state budget. Passing, there was some concern that the LSTA line item wasn't gonna be in the budget, but now that it is in the budget, so that's exciting. So we have, at least for another year, we have Mel Services and Melcat and all that stuff, so that's good then.
It paid off.
Yes, yes, your lobby day paid off. Digital sign. Did you guys see the digital sign? It's just beautiful. It's at 12 Mile Library. We were so excited. It was like a long time in coming. I feel like that took forever. And then they put it up like in one day and it was like fabulous. And so, yeah, it's very, I think it's one of the clearest ones I've seen. You know.
You know, that was my concern with my progressive lane.
Right.
Can
you see it?
I can.
Okay,
I can,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
No notes.
Yeah. I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions for me?
All right. No questions? Thank you very much, Kelly.
Yeah, no, I'm not, yeah. So I just wanted to make sure, no.
Okay.
Yeah, we have presentations. Yes, okay, so today we have Adrian Clark and Joe Laskowski. Both adult librarians, and they're here to share about themselves and about
Us.
Us, yeah, what they do, right?
Glad to be here. Jill and I are part of the adult services team. And Jill and I in particular, live for the most part upstairs. So if you walk into the building, you're pretty well, there's a pretty good chance you're gonna see us upstairs for the most part. Like I said, we're part of, I think 10 adult service librarians here. 4 here and then 6 over at the other building. And Jill and I in particular do most of the ordering for the new books in particular. Jill does new fiction and then I order for the new nonfiction. So we're kind of the team to put together all the new books on the new shelves. We also work with Anna and Dan to get the new large print and the new graphic novels here to the library also. I've been here for a while. I joined here in August 2021. Started as a part-time librarian and I've been full-time here for I think going on 3 years now. I do the new nonfiction here, which is very fun. A lot of my time is spent just reading all the synopsis for the new books and going, wow, I have a new book to read tomorrow. I also buy the new computer books. I purchase the new music here. And then the new books that get really popular for the nonfiction, they get on books on CDs. And I manage that as well here. We do weeding on the shelves, so sometimes books kind of go out of favor. They kind of get grimy, so we do some collection management on the shelves. So to keep the books nice and pretty, I do the computer books. Pretty much everything that I purchase for, except for the history books. I'm in charge of those here at the Farmington Library. Those are really fun because my background was, I really wanted to be something with like history. Wanted to teach history in some way, be a historian in some way. I went to Eastern with that in mind to be some kind of history guy, I would say. While I was working there, I was the shelver at the Plymouth Library, which kind of got me introduced to the whole library world. Graduated in 2013 and then started my Master's of Library and Information Science at Wayne State. I think a lot of us here went to either Wayne State or U of M. But I finished that in 2019. Started here in 2021. Before that, I was doing like web design and like web development for a tech startup in Royal Oak. I did all of like the user experience design and stuff like that. I gotta say though, I do like being here a lot more. I'm actually like I get to be more creative here, which is surprising. And I get to talk about some of these fun facts about me too. When I'm not here, I like to play bass in a band that I'm in with my friends called In a Daydream. I also like to play hockey. That picture of the guy behind me is my dad. That's a really cool call out to him. He started the team when I was like 15. And all of his friends were playing on it, and my brother got to play on it, and I've been on the team since I've been old enough, and we've been going for strong for like 25 years now. It's really fun. I kind of going along with hockey. I was going to hockey one day. I noticed some movement in a Taco Bell bag on the side of the road, and there was a little kitten inside of it. So, since 2013, I've had a little cat. Named her Rita because she was full of life in that Taco Bell bag. She's been with me ever since. Just other loves about me. I like history. Love linguistics and kind of how words play in each other. Really into philosophy, and that's really cool because I get to have some monthly programs here that I do that are on a continuous basis. There's a digital literacy class that I do here. Any topic about really the technological world. Using a computer, reading online, kind of navigating your email. There's a lot of talk about like AI stuff lately, so getting people introduced to that. And I also do a sci-fi book club called Starships and Stories. We might, if you have kind of seen our bulletin before, that was GNU before. I want to redo that to be more alliterative, so starships and stories sounded cool. That's really cool. We get to talk a lot about like philosophy and how science fiction kind of plays with history and stuff. My favorite book that I can say from sci-fi is The Last Babylon by Pat Frank. I had a really cool like sci-fi teacher in high school. And that was a cool book to be like, here's what sci-fi can do for expanding your mind, kind of in that regard. So yeah, you might see me if you come into the library. You might also see Jill as well.
Hey everyone, I'm Jill Myoskowski. I am still kind of new here. I started in November of 2023. So as Adrian mentioned, him and I both purchase new books for both buildings. So I do new fiction for this building and our 12-mile location. And I also do the McNaughton collection, which is what we use to like control the holds list. So like the really, really popular books, they'll have that orange band. We're actually leasing these from a company called Brodart. So every Tuesday morning, I get this holds list and I go through, and Crystal Corcoran, my supervisor, made this amazing like formula for me, and it tells me how many copies I need to purchase, and then I pop on Brodart and order, and it really helps things keep moving. I also purchased our ebooks, fiction and nonfiction for Libby. So it's ebooks and e-audio. I'm new to that, so really enjoying that new task. And then like Adrian, I'm doing the other part of book on CDs. So I'm doing all the new fiction book on CDs for both buildings. And then collection management, so known as weeding, which is like one of my favorite things to do, I'm not gonna lie. You keep things fresh and new. We run reports, we look at circ data, we look at condition and that sort of thing. So I purchase fiction and mystery, and Rebecca, who's in the back row, she does the selection for fantasy and science fiction. And then I submit those orders on her behalf. So I manage everything that I purchase minus the science fiction and fantasy. So I'm pretty lucky. And then I'm helping Anna Hay out, our senior librarian, outreach librarian, with managing the large print collection here. And then it looks like I dabble a little bit over in nonfiction. I do weeding for the biographies and the career test prep area. So a little bit about my background. I originally set out to be a probation parole officer. Not a librarian. You talk to librarians and you find out we all come from different backgrounds. So I went to Ferris State, I was a criminal justice major, and I was driving my professors bonkers. I kept wanting to know, why do people do this? Why? And I'm like, get out of here. You know, go study psychology. So I went and studied psychology. And as you can see, I worked in a domestic violence shelter for a number of years. I started out in a prosecutor's office as like a legal advocate up in Sanilac County, and then I moved on to Huron County, and I worked with Prosecutor Gertner. I also worked with Tim Rakowski, and then Jim Young was in Sanilac County. So I had a caseload managing domestic violence, sexual assault cases. I would help you with your victim impact statements. I would get dispatched to the hospitals to help with rape kits. So as you can imagine, there's an expiration date with that kind of work. And I was going to a literature to film club at Oakland University, because that's where I did one of my undergrad degrees. And I loved it so much. It was like my outlet. And the facilitator, a librarian, she's like, you would be really good at this, Jill. It's like you're still doing the work that you were doing, social work, but you're helping people in a different way. So it took the crisis out of it. So I loved it. So I stepped down from the shelter, I did grad school, and then I served on the board of directors of the shelter for a while after that. So my fun facts, if you know anything about me, if you were to pop into the staff area upstairs, I have a huge Detroit City Football Club flag. I'm a season ticket holder, have been for a number of years. Yes, she's a season ticket holder. Awesome. So match day is my favorite day of the week. One of my hobbies is I love visiting different stadiums like throughout the country and like experiencing like what their match day is like. I also try to do 1 to 2 women's, the National Women's Soccer League. And I got to meet Christine Sinclair. This is her memoir, and I actually got her to sign a book. So I was the nerd who brought a book to a soccer game, and I was like, like fangirling over her, yes. And I got to meet, I think it was like right after my interview for FCL. I knew Megan Rapinoe was retiring. So I think it was the weekend after my job interview here, I went out to Chicago and got to meet Megan Rapinoe. So that was super cool. I have the first edition cover of Fahrenheit 451 tattooed on my leg. That is like one of my favorite books. I've been a librarian in 5 different counties, which is quite fun. I started, I guess you would say Oxford was my first, so I was a shelfer when I was in high school. So I started in Oxford and then Deckerville, Millington, Dearborn Heights. I subbed at Brighton. Now I'm here, so yeah. And then I was a director twice, tiny little libraries up in the thumb. And then this is some of the other work that I do here. So I'm on the Working Conditions and Benefits Committee. I was on the Summer Reading Program Planning Committee. So the relationship that I have with Detroit City Football Club is they've donated tickets and such. And then through that relationship, my ticket rep reached out to Crystal Sexton, the head of children's at FH, and he reached out about the AAPI festival. So they had a conversation and then he shows up. So that's my ticket rep in the Friendly the Bear costume. And I served on the AAPI Fest Planning Committee and I did the sake case. So see Ernie there. That's it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, any questions for Adrian or Jill?
Question. How is the circulation of the books on CD? And I though, because they're not putting CDs in cars anymore. It's hard to find a CD player.
Yeah, it is getting, let's say, rarer and rarer. And in particular, even putting them on CDs versus just having them online. A lot of the people who record CDs, they like to probably put them on Audible in some way. So books and CDs, they come to us if they're really popular. Really popular authors will also often come on book on CDs. Really notable figures. They circulate pretty well here. I would say just a matter of getting them onto CD and getting into our library's actual format that we can have.
Has anyone thought about maybe circulating CD players?
I think we might have something, and the library is.
We do have it.
Yeah, library.
Little library things.
Yeah.
Hey.
I have to say,
And the
I'm the only
VCR.
person I know who still uses CD.
Because they're organized.
Yes.
They're organized.
It's so much effort in organizing them in my house. Exactly.
They're gonna be popular like records are.
Yeah,
Someday.
That whole physical.
There's a whole discussion around the ownership of your music, and so now
Yeah.
everybody's using the streaming services, but nobody, even if you buy a track or an album, if the streaming service goes away, then what do you own, right?
Right.
Yeah. So there's this whole thing of like people who are trying to reclaim ownership of their media. So,
Exactly, yeah.
yeah. So, all right, Jill, I gotta tell you, the sake tasting, one of my best experiences at the library. And then I got to go to a focus group at City Hall like the next day. And I was there and somebody in the group mentioned that they also had attended the sake tasting and everybody was like, these are the kind of things, these are the forward thinking types of ideas that we need. So keep doing that and figuring out other ways to make us happy at the library. All right. So I think that will bring us to subcommittee updates. So first up is personnel, and I will turn it over to O'Hara.
As you all know, we've come almost to the finish line. I feel like we've made it 99 yards, that football terms. Of the director search, as always, thanks to the personnel committee, because it's a lot of hours of meeting to talk about the process, and I believe that we had three really qualified final candidates that were able to meet and interview and hear from and hear their ideas for their vision and future for the library and what they would like to see. And I think if I'd like to make a motion after looking at, oh, sorry, that's not the subject. And so my update is that we are prepared for a motion later. That to make an offer to a candidate that, looking at the sports and having conversations that we think would be really qualified to lead our library to the next chapter of its future. And thanks again, I think, you know, I always give kudos to the personnel committee because it is a lot of work, but I'd be remiss if I don't mention Kelly and Crystal and just the staff in general. We started this whole process with some listening sessions with the staff and we've done surveys to hear what the staff liked. And what I really am proud of in the process itself is there's a direct link in both the first round interviews and the final round interviews. The interview questions came directly from what we heard from staff was important to them that came out in the both the survey results and the listening sessions. And so the staff has been a really it started with their interests in mind, and certainly our patrons and our board. And so thanks to everybody who's been a part of it. It's been several months of this work, and so I'm happy to be kind of close to wrapping that up.
Thank you very much. I'd echo those sentiments. Thanks to the committee for all of their hard work, and I appreciate you all allowing me to jump in when I was available. It was awesome to see you all work. I like to watch you work, so that was fun. So thank you. All right, that will bring us to the facilities update. So Sharon, I will turn it over to you.
Sure. We had a facilities meeting, past Wednesday. And, some of the general discussions were, because we didn't have any fresh update for our plan. Involves about when we do have some changes here at the library, which include outdoor areas. What do we think about in general, smoking? Where is smoking gonna be, in sections or not smoking? So there was a, general discussion about, is it good to have signs or not signs? And but it is something in the future that we'll have to make a decision because we have outdoor areas that we're expanding in 2 places in Farmington and at least 1 big place in Farmington Hills. So that was one topic. Another is, we didn't have any update from Steve. Another discussion came up is the phase 1 has the parking lot, West parking lot. And we had kind of started a little discussions at another meeting earlier, a few months ago, about electric pumps for vehicles. So that discussion is, if we're thinking of doing that, well, Steve needs to consider in a plan where you're gonna run conduit or where you're gonna put it. And we have a lot of questions about that. Kelly's offered to ask Steve give him some information, ask him what choice we have. And one of my concerns is that, do we need to spend more money ahead of time and having him draw up sample plans when as a trustee committee, are we all on board with that? Or, well, we don't really know yet. I just hate to spend extra money doing new layouts when all of a sudden everybody says, let's just hold off on that. So I don't know, today is a good time to have that discussion, but that was one of the topics that came up. So I throw that out if the trustees want to put on the agenda to discuss or think about. And Kelly, you had asked Steve to tell us some more information or about the cost. Yeah, about the cost of, do you put cables under the concrete first before you do the parking lot? And so that was a big discussion that is part of our plan, the kind of things you need to think about ahead of time. So you don't afterwards go, oh, we should have thought about that. We would have put the lines over here instead of there.
So Steve's response was, because I did ask him those questions, and his response was that his engineer is well versed in EV charging stations and would come out and make suggestions.
Okay. So let's look to put it on a future agenda. And maybe we can coordinate the expert, maybe can give us some input. And I think we can also kind of do a little bit of our own research in the meantime before that meeting, right? So we can orient ourselves around it and we'll try to send some supporting information as well. So I appreciate that, Sharon.
And the one agreement that was made by everyone is that, not what capacity, what you do is that you should charge for the service.
Yes,
It shouldn't be a free service.
at this point, I would agree, especially when I look across the street and see how people are lined, they eat and go. Yeah, it seems to be.
And another issue that we talked about is, when there's a maintenance issue around the building. Who should you talk to, or who do you direct your questions to? You know, again, this is broken, you know, who, there you go, you know, bother people all along. So the bottom line is, the patrons are supposed to report the issues just directly to a staff person if they see the staff person, then is submitting the comment to Kelly. And is to contact us on their website, that they can put in their question or they have concern that they have. The staff gives any ticket through that system goes to Kelly. The
Goes
board
to
members,
Peter. Goes to Peter.
where the contact ticket go?
Peter.
Oh, to Peter. And then this board members have issues that they'd like to see clarified, that goes to Kelly directly. So that's kind of it. And we went field trip to Plymouth Library. And Renee went and Kathy and myself went. Steve is also working on that project. It is about a $2 million project. It is not a new building renovation. It is the children's area, which isn't done yet, but it'll be done by December. And it's worth looking at what they did over there. They do have carpet squares, which they love. They made a couple of changes, and the big thing we noticed is that all the study rooms are full glass. There's no wooden door with a window. Every study room is wall-to-wall glass. Back.
Did they speak about the thinking there?
Hmm?
Did they speak about why?
No, I think they just said so you could see the people. We did notice it was really different, that you can see what's going on. It's pretty, I don't know if it's easier to clean or not, but. They do have an amphitheater that is like a pie shape. One donor funded it for 90,000. And it has the donor's name, they will have. And it's issues that people like it, it's well attended. They had drainage problems with it, and they also have noise problems because the police station has an air conditioner that they cannot get the sound to lower. So when it's really noisy and hot, it's hard to hear. Plymouth also had an article in their paper. It's called Turning a New Page, and it had a nice strip of the children's, and this article is about the Plymouth. You also have. Thank you, John, for doing it with the minutes. Peter did an update on the Tudor sign, which you've all seen. And talked about the bulbs that some of them don't work. I don't know what that was.
The LED lighting.
There's some like someone working in the parking lot.
Yeah, they're fixed now.
Yeah. And the parking renovations, there's electrical access to the pole lights, and Marie made a really good suggestion that because you run out electricity for special events, that maybe some outlets at the pole lights someplace would be a really good thing to do. And since we have more and more events in the parking lot, so yes, here to look into that, and I think that covers it.
All right, that was a lot. Thank you, Sharon.
I just want, if you're interested in makerspace, the place to go to is the library out in. Which room was that, Kathy? That they have a really good makerspace program.
Alton.
Well, to go there, and they have two people are just designing, I guess, a really good.
Thank you very much. That will bring us to finance.
Yeah, we haven't met yet, but we are gonna be meeting. As part of October to discuss planned giving and naming rights. As I know that's That's come up. And Julian and Sarah have been working on that with Sherry. So we'd like to have one of them come to the meeting.
Just let us know.
Yeah, and then after we make that discussion, then we'd like to have a meeting with the friends.
I mean, somebody email me and you'll get on the schedule. and I'll let you know.
That's good. Okay, and that's it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Kathy. I do not believe we have any unfinished business. Yes, Chris.
Ernie, not for discussion, but just so that we don't lose track of it, we started to have this conversation some months ago about having a foundation for the library. You and I had a couple missed meetings and then, so I just don't want us to lose that.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what-
And I actually think what we should do is invite Chris into that meeting, because into that particular meeting, but we won't lose track of that for sure, so thank you for flagging, yeah. All
I
right.
got it laid low, Chris, no saying.
Not trying.
Save myself by coming half hour late.
All right, that will bring us to new business. So, Dilhar, I'll turn it back over to you.
I'm ready to make a motion to offer the director position to Sasha Matthews with a salary within the posted range and relocation allowance as authorized by the personnel committee.
I second it.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded that we would extend an offer to Sasha Matthews. Any discussion?
So is it the, are you at the stage now where that you would then have to negotiate that final salary with her and the moving expenses? So you've just determined up to what? Okay, thank you.
Yes, and I think.
And Renee explained that to me. I just want to confirm that. That's great.
And we'll be working with, Mike Bloom, our, the library attorney, to do the negotiation.
Any other questions?
I would just like to thank the personnel committee for all of that hard work and organization. It's very well organized. I hired many people in my day job. I'm impressed with the organization and the structure of these interviews. Very confident in our vote here today.
Chris,
So do we need, does the board need to vote on an upper cap, or is that already done somewhere?
yes, recently, the board basically, the library has reviewed its salary ranges, all positions, and kind of the whole salary structure. And as a part of that process, the director's salary range was kind of established and defined and adopted. So what's being authorized is within that set range that's already been established and further restricted by the range that was in the posting.
So if we don't need a vote, that's fine. I just don't want us to pass this by and then find out later we need, as a procedural
I
matter.
think when you
So
voted in the
that-
posting, when you approved the posting, you voted. for
Okay,
that.
perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect, that
Yeah,
covers
yeah.
it. Good.
And that's the, just to be clear, that is the motion that's on the table right now. That's what Dilhara says. To offer the position to Sasha Matthews, but at a salary within the range. So that's all in the. I want to second what Steven said. I too appreciate greatly the work that the personnel committee has put in and how everything was. Just all the steps that that made this process very easy for us and yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. Seeing no further discussion, I think we will take a vote. And so I think with this, we will do a roll call vote. So Jim, will you call the name?
Oh boy. Okay. I don't have to say. I want to get ready. Okay, Renee,
Yes.
Steven,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes. Yes.
sure, okay, thank you, Kathy,
Yeah.
Dilhara.
Yeah.
Ernie,
Yes.
and Jim, yes.
Okay, the motion carried. I do want to thank everyone for their participation in the process. I echo all of the comments that have been made. You know, I want to say to the staff and to any members of the public who are, you know, watching or interested in this topic, not an easy proposition for us. I've been walking around all year feeling some kind of way, having to deal with somebody who wanted to retire. But, you know, even in talking to the different candidates and their references and such, you know, everybody was expressing like, oh, no, this is a hard decision for you guys. It's a hard decision. And it's just so important that I reinforce that, no matter, you know, how this boils out, right? Because we're extending an offer, there's negotiations, who knows, we might be back having a further discussion, right? But how we receive the new director is going to be super important. And, you know, the staff and the friends and all of us here are a huge part of that. And so I just appreciate everyone in advance for being supportive of the board's decision and working together to make sure we have a collaborative and a successful path forward. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Dohara.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So then the next item that we have on the agenda is new chairs for the computer area. And I think that a proposal here also that, so Kelly, you want to talk about this?
Okay, so this is for the computer chairs at Farmington Hills in the adult department. I don't know if you've seen those chairs, but I won't even touch them. Literally will not touch them. Like, I feel like I need gloves, but, they're from 2000, when the library was remodeled. So, I have two options here. Kathy had asked back when I sent this to you if we could get, samples, and we can, I just don't have them. So I don't know, I hate to hold this off again. I mean, I'll hold it off until I get samples and the people that are gonna be in that department can sit in it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you that's my vote too, because yes, all the folks that we talked to who bought furniture, that's been the one advisement they've all given. It's like, see it. touch
Yeah,
it.
yes.
So we would rather wait to make sure it passes Kathy and staff's chairs.
So, I mean, yeah,
So does this need a vote? Is that?
it does because it's over.
Up to, and then.
Yeah, you could vote for up
And then
to,
that- that
and then
back
they can
is like-
sit in the chairs and decide which one.
Yeah, cause
And then
like,
it won't
unless
delay
when your one's like,
Yeah.
they're on the chair.
And I agree, and we trust that you'll make the right call. on that.
Right.
I agree, but I would say, yes, sit in.
Sit in
before
them,
you
I
place it.
will, we will, everybody will sit in them, and then I will invite you to sit in if you would like.
Yeah.
I know Kathy will probably, perhaps.
But these are two that seem to be like most similar to what we currently have. And when I talked to LTA, they do a lot of these. One is, I think, wider than the other one, maybe, I don't know. I can't really figure out what the difference is, but, we'll see what we get. And like I said, in the thing, I'm open to, I don't necessarily have to have them dispose of 31 chairs for $558. But I'm just throwing it in the dumpster if they die.
Well, just a question about that. I'm big on repurposing and recycling, and if it's possible, could we offer them to staff or to the public or?
Maybe you need to take a look at it. I mean, maybe you would, I would not offer them to anybody.
So they're not even good for like Michigan surplus or.
You can't even adjust the seats.
Okay.
You're sitting on the
We can
ground.
just go look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I can offer it to staff, but I'm gonna guess there's no takers.
even if some of them are halfway decent, if we could get rid of 10 or 15 of them, that could be real.
Could be a raffle prize on staff day.
For your 10 years or so.
So would the motion be like, we authorize up to 16,500 to
That's
purchase chairs?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make that
There you
motion.
go.
I'll make it.
Support.
Okay.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded that the board would authorize up to $16,500 for replacement of the computer lab chairs. All right. Any discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor,
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carried.
And this is already in the furnishing budget line. It's not like you're putting like money in it. It's already,
It's already done.
Yeah. All right, so that will bring us to correspondence. Jim, do we have any correspondence?
No correspondence that first one discussed in the public meeting, so.
Okay, understood. Do we have any public comment? Okay, no public comment. We thank the public for being here. Any trustee comment?
Yes.
Okay, Kathy and then Chris.
Personnel Committee would like to give you this. And because we want to thank you so much for all of your guidance and hard work and our fearless leader through this whole
Yeah.
director thing.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. It run you away, so. I think you actually enjoyed it, so. Chris.
So first of all, I want to apologize for being late. Renee, I don't know if you got my text.
No, I.
Okay, I was in the car. The only person I could communicate with was Renee because she was in my recent calls. And I could punch on it and talk to it. So I do apologize for everyone. I was stuck with some accent due to a very, very terrible traffic due to a terrible accident. So I want to apologize to the board for being late. And rather than piling on to the personnel committee, I just want to say how proud I feel to be a part of the board of a library that attracted the quality of candidates that this search did. I thought the candidates that we were able to see were truly extraordinary, and not every library directorship attracts that kind of candidate. So I just really want to appreciate the leadership of this library, the staff of this library, that built it into the kind of place that persons of that caliber would like to come and try to squeeze their big feet in Kelly's little but big shoes. So thank you, Kelly, and all.
I think that's an awesome comment, Chris, and I'd say, Dahara, all the way through the process, that was how we felt about the candidate pool from the first phase through the second phase, that we were fortunate that we had a pool of people who all were really exceptional.
Yeah.
And also that we were afforded a lot of runway and preparation from Director Segrist as far as being able to go through the process like this and not be in a rush or a hurry. With as many extensions as we might need on the back end, if something goes wrong. So that's in blood already written, so. So thank you, Chris. Any other trustee comments?
I hate giving a commercial, but I do have to speak up for the Farmington Hills Education Foundation is having their annual toast on November 7th. And anyone in the community is welcome to come. It's the foundation's big fundraiser. And when we talked about whether we're gonna have a library foundation, it's tough to raise money for a foundation. So this foundation obviously is to raise money to fund projects in the school district that are not normally covered by the district budget. And anyone connected to the district, as long as they're, in fact, it occurred to me that library staff should think about this, because when you serve Farmington students, you are eligible for grant money and from the foundation. And so, well, I didn't either, but until really last night, it didn't occur to me.
They are teacher grants.
Right, so most of the grants awarded over the year the foundation has existed are go to teachers, but anyone really can win a grant as long as they're serving Farmington Public School students. And so again, this is the big fundraiser of the year. It's November 7th. It's a wine, beer, mocktail tasting event with food and live music, and it's right here in Farmington. So if anyone's interested, just let me or Chris know, because Chris actually works for our foundation, and we'll get you there.
It's really a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you for highlighting that, Jim, and I'd encourage as many trustees as can to go.
Please attend. If
Yeah.
you've never been, it's really worth, I attended myself for the first time last year. And it
Where
was
is
just,
this?
it's at the Meridian.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it really is.
Farmer John's.
Yes, by Farmer John's, it's across the street from Farmer John's, is probably the best way to describe what it is. It's really it's a lovely event just in itself, but what Jim said, all the dollars raised, all of the dollars raised go back into student-centered projects that are serving kids in the Farmington schools. And so it's really, you're really doing a good thing when you come and have fun.
Absolutely. I think one of the board members lives a couple doors from me, and so every year I get a purple thing. Mailbox. Whether I go or not, I typically buy the tickets anyway, so.
Thank you for that.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you're out of town, you can still buy the ticket, but I think it would be great if we all could meet up there, so maybe we'll talk about that as a board activity, a little social activity, so thank you. All right, any more trustee comment? All right, we'll see none. I think we can consider ourselves adjourned. Thank you all very much for a great meeting. Have a great night.
Thank you. There are good.